happy with the fact that the girls have done well in the longer format, but quite disappointed because that's the format we've been playing for a long time now, and there have been also so many matches that we almost were cruising to win, and then we give away those matches. So it was quite disappointing in the second one day. Had we won the second one day, which we were very close, we would have leveled the series. I think honestly, I didn't after the 2006 test match, and since then we haven't played. So I never thought I would get to play another test. But it was quite frustrating for the fact that after 8 years we start all over again to prepare for this longer format, and it was difficult initially, even as a seasoned player who played more of the one-days and the T20. Coming to a test was difficult for me. But the best part was we knew that we were going to play a test match in the England tour when we were heading for the T20 World Cup. So we, as individual players, we had enough time to prepare for this longer format. I think that was one positive which actually helped each player to do well in the test. Like playing for a little longer than usually what we play for the one-days, and cutting on quite a bit of shots, because one day the T20 expects you to innovate sometimes and play some predetermined shots which you cannot afford to play in the longer format. And I think maybe a longer time spent in the nets, because that's how you develop your temperament and the endurance to stay there. We didn't get time to celebrate because this tour was quite tightly scheduled. We play a game and the next day we were traveling to a different location and then followed by one more game. So we didn't get much time in between the games, even to celebrate the win of the test. 2006 win is different for the fact that I did have senior players. I had seasoned players then. Though even that win is no less because we've beaten England in English conditions, and also so the fact that match was also pretty much very close. Of course, test is longer format is such that the game fluctuates in every session. But yes, the plus point of that team was that the team was quite. We had seasoned players, and this team I had all raw debutants, and even for me, for Julian, it was like a comeback series into the test match after 8 years. So it was difficult individually and as a leader also, because it was kind of an education. I was educating them in the camp how to go about sessions and how to bowl and how to bat in the during those days. How sometimes it could be boring when there's partnerships, when you don't get wickets, and when you get wickets, how the game suddenly changes. So it's kind of was an education for them during the camp, and I think they responded well because they completely just absorbed what I told them on the field. So I think that helped a lot. See, I think with this victory, it definitely puts one big point across, is that this team is not as bad as what people perceived during the World Cup when we didn't qualify for the Super 6 in 2013. Secondly, given proper guidance, given a number of matches, and in a well-planned international schedule, this team can become one of the top teams. But yes, these things need to be put in effect, because it gets difficult for any player, for any team to get back into another series after a gap of 3-4 months. Like for example, now we don't know what is the next international series, but England is already into another series with South Africa now. So that's how they plan, because it gets difficult for a team also. Even if we do well, we don't continue that momentum. So by the time we play next series with a gap of 2-3 months, the girls are again grouping. First 2-3 days takes us to get together, and by then you're already in the middle of a series. So I think these are the two things which is quite evident with this victory, that you need to give the girls and the players enough matches, and also that get 2-day games or the format into the domestic, so that you you have strong quality players coming up. Niranjana, she has, with bowling with Julan, I think she has gained experience and she was very good in the test match, though she needs that consistency when it comes to the one-dayers. But I think with bowling with Julan, I'm sure she will learn, the tricks of bowling with, and also the plus point with her is that her batting, because she can turn around to be a very good all-rounder, which definitely any team would want in every format of the game, because she contributed even with her bat in the first inning. The crucial partnership between her and Julian has given us few runs of lead in the first innings. So she can turn out to be a very good all-rounder. And Smriti Mandhana, she's young, very compact player, but yes, time will definitely tell how she evolves as a batter. But right now I find her quite having a very bright future and one of very good prospects for the country. After a long period, I get to see a very good opening batter for India. Yes, but again, it depends on how quickly these girls learn to read the game. That is so important when you play international cricket, because no matter how much experience you earn by playing matches, but you need to apply them during those situations on the field, which is something I feel this team definitely lacks, is reading of the game on the field. And I'm hoping that with these games and with the longer format and being around players, I guess they will learn eventually. But yes, definitely there is a transition. They are a very talented bunch of players. See, I guess yes. She definitely didn't live up to what is expected of her. But I think this is part and parcel of international cricket. One series you do really well, where people expect you, the expectation rises, and suddenly sometimes you may not score as much or live up to that expectation. But I'm sure she is also one of those players who've done well in the past. It's just a matter of a couple of innings that she would get back into runs. Yes, because especially in the second ODI, I think, I felt that maybe if I was around, the girls would have pulled the match through. Usually that's what happens, and unfortunately I got out and they just mixed up in the middle. So that is something which I was referring to as reading of the game, because see, at some level, these girls, Harman, Poonam Roth, have been playing for India for quite some time now, like for 4-5 years. So it's time for them to, when comes these situations, when probably sometimes I may not be around in the middle to guide them, that's the time they need to step up and take the team along. So that is something I'm looking at, in these 2-3 years, to help them to do that, so that when maybe in 4-5 years when Julan and I'm not around, probably that will help them. Well, I think I guess sometimes it is nice to score those many runs, see the stats, and see where you have reached from what you started. But I think that's just not the end. Sometimes you're just beyond all the stats. You just go there and score runs. That gives you a lot of happiness. Yes, it will be crucial. Even after we losing the series, we wanted to play the Lord's game, because it was important for us to gain points, which will help us to qualify for the 2017 World Cup, which was quite disappointing that the third game was washed away. Yes, it becomes crucial. Earlier, people, after the series, the team which loses may not show that much of an interest, and we try out players so that we give them exposure. But now every match becomes important irrespective of the result of the series, because you are gaining points. You need to take as many points as you can in these 2 years. Yes, I think it is a very good system. With this, we also get to play more games with the other teams. Like, you have to play with every team to gain points. So you will not be left out as any other team. Like, for example, South Africa, we haven't played them for years. So this year, with becoming it mandatory that you play every team, we'll get to play with those teams which we haven't crossed paths for few years. Yes, I think especially the first timers, they were actually praying to the rain god not for it to stop so that they can get at least an experience to play in that historic venue. Most important, I think there were so many moments where, you, especially the test match, when we started off getting them all out in 92 and then we give them a lead. Even then, things were quite plays in an intrigued manner. It could be anybody's game, but at the fourth day end, the last days at the breakfast table, I can see everybody's face with so much of apprehensions and so much of nervousness, because I think I've gone through that and I could see them, and they could only tell me like, just be there and just get us through. I could see that the desperation in them to be part of a test win. That was something very important and something very moving about these young girls, that they really wanted to do, and they really wanted to be part of a win. And I think funny moment you always come across on the ground with some girls diving or something with a funny shot. So I think that's always been there. I was quite I was always thinking about the situations, what could happen, because that's how you plan. You have so many things running as to if the situation changes, what needs to be done, what kind of how to just get through the innings and get the girls going, because sometimes as I mentioned, one good partnership and seasoned players can pull themselves up, but it gets difficult for young girls, for newcomers who are not aware of it, how to go about in those situations, and also the bowling tactics, what to bowl, when to bowl, because no matter how skilled you can be in the one-dayers, when it comes to test matches, you need to use some tactics, and that is. I was probably thinking even from the bowler's perspective, as a batter, even as a captain. So I was doing all around, like 360 degrees of thinking. See, personally, I never got any congratulatory message from the former cricketers. But yes, BCCI did congratulate the team, and they just want us to continue to perform well. I guess they probably now realize the importance of winning a test match and how the expectations rise, because when they came to the one-dayers, the first one-dayers, they were all over. Like, it didn't seem like even half of what we were in the test match. So they could understand how disappointing the first one-dayers was for them as players and as a team. And I could see how quickly they got back into the second game with a lot of improvement in the fielding department and even in the batting department. So it's just a matter of guiding them, and also that now they do understand what is test cricket and how challenging and how it demands a lot from a cricketer. See, I think of course the selectors have selected the best from the lot they could pick, and even the management have done their best, because this is the team we got for the series. So in the little time which we had, maybe a week we had before we flew to England. So in that 1 week's time, all of us had to put in double the work, because we were playing the test first. So it was important that the girls need to be brushed very well with regards to the longer format. So I think even the management in their part have done their